going up against LGD, not the greatest of seasons in our most recent season of Chinese Contenders, looking to rewrite the ship this way around, and we'll start things off on Lighthouse.
Yeah, LGD Gaming have been trying to combat it against after their original main tank, Gushui, moved over to the Overwatch League. You find him on the Hangzhou Spark now, and kind of struggling within his own self too, but they have Tongqiu now, representing the Winston, and that's some of this triple TPS that I've been talking about. Kaneki goes down early on the Tracer, but it's a high bursting amount of damage coming through from both these teams right off the rip.
Yeah, NightGod doing a really nice job of, again, playing around with the sight lines, but more importantly, finding targets, including Rookie, who was kind of lingering in the back, trying to be an annoyance to Heurix, but will be able to get taken down. So all of a sudden is the point will open up in favor of Light Gaming initially without much contest whatsoever. You're really looking at Tongqiu again playing on the solo Winston front line to make something happen here, because to be completely candid, there's just not a lot of pressure being thrown to the point really whatsoever for this side of LGD.
And the real answer here for LGD Gaming on this solo tank Winston composition is how the heck are you going to pressure Heurix, right? Wanli not going to have an easy time with that. It comes down to Kaneki and Rookie to find these off angles. NightGod taking the direct rockets here directly to the face of LGD Gaming, but it's going to be Kaneki that finds B612 on the first pick on this fight.
And this has to be the opening, you would think, as there will be an infra site if they want it, but more importantly, the nano boost is available for LGD. Although the res will come through from Sentry. You previously mentioned the fact that Sentry has some experience, although maybe not the sexiest experience on the support as far as his win-loss ratio goes yet. Wanli with a nice angle on the backhand side, but not quite able to track down the Sombra. So now Unai, he's got himself an EMP, might just have to come through. NightGod's going to get their way in as he gets boosted but hacked and immediately falls off the edge, and that will be the flip going to LGD and life to the team fight as well.
I was going to talk a little bit more about Light Gaming's composition. This is a little bit more of a standard style where you take the Far Mercy, you take the Sombra, and then you have Heurix. Heurix a little bit more formally seen on the Brigitte, a little bit more projectile base, if you will, but also has a very good Widowmaker as well. It enables the rest of Light Gaming to play around their specialties, if you will. You get to see NightGod flex as well, but Roshan has to be careful because LGD Gaming are playing with a high bursting composition. More importantly, they do have Rookie on the Sombra, so you have to be careful of that. Does get hacked, but has the minefield available, so if they live, this is going to be a very good opening for Light Gaming. They have a handful of ultimates coming online as well. Can walk underneath the Valkyrie here momentarily, but they gotta get through these choke lines first.
It's going to be a tough try to get through there, simply due to all the damage that's here. Also, Barrage, nice shot starting to come through. Pulse Bomb also finding a stick, but that's not going to be enough, at least not as of yet, to make things go in their favor, as Heurix is able to trade back away the Tracer, and it actually looks like Heurix will go on to Tracer of their own as they find the pick through. So now all of a sudden, a little bit of a what season 0 Overwatch coming at us. All this Tracer gameplay that we're starting to see, 75% still counting up. Not a lot of action as far as, again, who's going to be able to contest the point as of yet. Slapped very nicely as Wanli. NightGod's going to absolutely stomp right in with the barrage so mean. And Roshan able to find a grapple on a Tongqiu, I believe, off the map there. No jump available, and it will stall at 89% Light Gaming with the flip.
This is going to be a last fight scenario for LGD Gaming. If they take the next fight, they will be able to walk away with the round in a staggering fashion against Light Gaming. Light Gaming had to invest a decent amount of ultimates there, being the EMP and the minefield as well, plus the barrage on the sleeping Pharah as well. LGD Gaming, they do have their own EMP combo. Going to be looking for that EMP to come through for Wanli to find a lot of value into this barrage as well. Hoyo Chen is about to have the Valkyrie as well, so it couldn't be a lot of sustain to exist on this point.
It's going to be the Primal Rage first. Tongqiu able to take down Yonai. Wasn't able to find any kind of a hack, which is what he was looking for on the point initially to open things up, and that's going to be essentially a full team wipe coming out for LGD very quickly. They do commit a little bit, though. I mean, the EMP, obviously, but also beyond that, the Primal Rage. So that's a lot of their sustained down. Also, the Valkyrie has been popped in this engagement, so that might be what they need to find the point, but if they can find one more recontest, Light Gaming definitely has the opportunity to potentially get their overtime. Will be triggered, as it will be Unai who's able to get on point to at least touch for now. But again, who's going to get here to follow up? Barrage able to lock down the doorway, saying nobody comes in. You can leave, but you can't come back. And that might be enough, as the first pick is a crucial one on the Sentry. Wanli doing a really nice job of also finding the hamster as well, who Roshan is able to take down one. Unai as well, the adaptive shield keeps him alive for a small time, and if the healing can get here, Roshan might be able to make a play, but he does get sniffed out by Rookie, and that might just be it, as there's no other frontliners here. It's going to be down to individual staggers, and again, you can see Wanli is sitting here. The flip does come through, but they don't have the numbers is the biggest thing. Nano boost comes through, so it just comes down to if you can find the kills. Finally, Sentry Sentry gets taken down as he comes through late. That was the big sustain point that Light Gaming really would have needed. Roshan, though, right back in the mix, says the Wrecking Ball, and he might just be able to take down Tanshu, and the Barrage is there to assist, and Light Gaming might have just found a way to extend this an extra life.
And the main support, Hoyo-chan, coming back on the Widowmaker. We're up at 95% to 99. Light Gaming has the EMP and a Coalescence built here off the staggering B612, and they're going to pull both of them at the same time.
The Wrecking Ball gets absolutely destroyed. Kaneki not able to get out of dodge as he gets hacked. Will be touched one more time. Tanshu, Heurix not going to be able to be in fact, as it will be Night God switching to the Doomfist to find the elimination, and that will be 100 to 99. The sneak flip, but then just to stay alive in staggered fashion. I don't know if I want to praise Light Gaming or kind of dissuade from the fact that LGD was not able to find any kind of target prioritization whatsoever.
You can't sing all the praise, but you got to give him props, right? Sentry came back originally on the Lucio, which allowed, which I guess brought a little less sustain to Night God flying in the sky on Pharah, but it brought a nice stall onto the point as well. Unai was already on the Sombra, and Roshan had been playing the Wrecking Ball throughout the entirety of that first stage, allowed them to have a certain amount of ultimates to be playing around as well. And you cannot undersell the Moira as well. Certain amount of healing, plus the damage orb as well, can build a very quick Coalescence, and that's what you got to see at the end of that round. Light Gaming now going to be sticking around on the same composition as we load over to Ruins. LGD Gaming going over to a little bit more of a standard composition as we typically see on this current patch. It's going to be that 3-2-1 Sombra. Wanli's Sombra, as of late, has been a little bit more one-dimensional. Gonna have to see if they find value against Light Gaming here.
And again, Hugh is talk about the player that we didn't know much about outside of the fact that he hasn't played in over a year competitively in the contender scene. He's going to be on the Widowmaker, and he's already found a couple of connections, up to 32%. Unai able to win the trade versus his counterpart in Wanli, but it's actually going to be the support line of Secret and the combination of Tanshu, able to take down a couple of crucial members as both the Ana and the Pharah fall. There will be a re-res coming through, though, for Sentry, but it costs him his life. And Hoyo-chan, well, we've seen this time and time again in previous contender seasons. He pops off for a double kill. Make that a triple! Hoyo-chan, you're not supposed to do that on a Lucio. He doesn't have any cares, though, as it will be LGD winning the initial fight.
That's the best part about playing 3-2-1 versus a triple DPS composition, is that you can allow multiple members to find success in the chaos, right? You can allow Secret to scope in, which does become a hit scan when you are playing the Ana as well, and you can take that fight directly to Night God as they are being pressured out by multiple targets, and you have to be very careful at this as well. That long staggering fight is favoring LGD Gaming, who does have control of the point as well, and this chaos is going to favor them so greatly. Rookie is building this Graviton very wonderfully.
Yeah, Rookie did a really nice job of honestly just saying, hey, Night God, shoot at me. Thanks for the free charge. Let me go ahead and put that right back into you. Although Night God did get res back up, Sentry really having to do a lot of work here on the Mercy, and sometimes at the cost of their own life. But still, 41% counting up above that. And now all of a sudden, if you're Light Gaming, you need to hit a fat EMP here. But you can actually see LGD is pretty spread out right now. And now if you just are Hoyo-chan, you need to find a target. He only finds 3. We'll be able to find Hoyo-chan, the very merciless on the Lucio, but the nano boost comes out for
great
Secret.
concussive
That's
blast!
the only kill so far. The concussive blast is enough to take down Rookie and immediately change the focus down to one more. That's Wanli right in front. The barrage comes through just to trail up the last 2 players. That's absolutely picking up the pieces as Light Gaming finds the flip.
They have to invest so many ultimates, too. I mean, you see that B612 comes back on the Moira as well. The self-sustain is utmost importance, especially against LGD Gaming and what they're running. You have so much to deal with if you're playing the Ana. The dive coming through. You have the Sombra to worry about as well. Not to mention the fragging Lucio of Hoyo-chan. I mean, there's so much... just so much pressure into the backline of Light Gaming that they have to be wary of. So I like this swap coming through from B612. But again, a lot of ultimates had to be used. LGD Gaming hardly invested any of theirs as well. They have the rally to walk back in, and they have the Graviton Surge. You find 1 or 2, this could be the flip coming through.
Opening EMP for LGD, finds 2 players hacked, but none of them will fall. Finally, B612 does get taken down by Kaneki. And, well, Roshan in a hell of a lot of trouble as well, as he also gets right-clicked hacked, and he will also fall. Kaneki doing a lot of the work, and, well, that might just be enough, because Rookie's found himself above 60% charge again, mostly to the thanks of Night God, who keeps throwing rockets at him. And I was about to say, Light Gaming has looked really clean mostly, but you mentioned the overcommittal, but also beyond that, they have been feeding Rookie into his shield so much extra charge.
what's most important is that they didn't even use the Graviton. We're up at
Yeah.
81%. They are in the spawn of Light Gaming. LGD Gaming having the Graviton Surge. This is a guaranteed fight victory. If they can lock down 1 or 2 targets, this is going to be absolutely massive. Sentry switching over to the Lucio. They understand that they have to put one member on the point to proc overtime because it is in dire straits. But B612 does have the Coalescence on top of the Coalescence, on top of the EMP rather, and that is what won the fight on Lighthouse. We're gonna have to see if they find success here on Ruins.
EMP comes through, looking
died
for
with
a target
Coalescence.
as Rookie, and while they're coming through, EMP actually going to be coming out for Light Gaming initially, and they're actually able to find B612, as you mentioned, with the Coalescence, so Rookie has to make a heroic play. He's got no charge, though. Does he have the damage to even find any kind of elimination? Finally, here comes the sound barrier in play. Tanshu is also there to find some cleave damage with the Tesla Cannon, and it looks like that will eventually be enough, but scary moments for LGD, as they weren't quite able to clean things up. And to be candid, I was about to say maybe we shouldn't call this one so soon because their target prioritization had been weak previously in Lighthouse, but this time through there just weren't enough members to worry about. So we will go into the third set here of Ilios.
Triple DPS, not a good look for LGD Gaming. 3-2-1, looks pretty clean. They're able to follow up on hack targets. They're able to follow up on on dives as well, coming through from Tangshu. But as we load over to the well stage here on Ilios, informally known as the murder hole, gonna have to see if there's any sort of finesse that Hoyo Chen or Sentry are gonna be able to find. Interesting composition being loaded out here for Light Gaming. Speaking of Night God, over to the Orisa on top of Roshan with the Winston, and Unai on the Zarya. A very interesting take on a triple tank composition with 3 supports as well. Not exactly standard by any means, but LGD Gaming, they're gonna go for the pull port combination between Tanshu and Rookie. Kaneki over to the Hanzo as well. A lot of long-range damage with Wanli flying in the sky with Hoyo Chen once more. It's going to be a denial of space coming through from LGD Gaming, and it's a lot of shield break at that.
And again, even Rookie just right-clicking with this Hog will be like the anti-flake going into any kind of airborne object. So the Light Gaming are just going to dive right on in and say, we see your Orisa, we want all of that mechanical horse. And well, they're getting all that they can handle because here comes Unai in the backside. Although Wanli finds the first and the second, that's going to make things very interesting for Light Gaming because they're going to have nowhere to escape to. And now all of a sudden, Wanli, he's going to be able to have 3 line of fire onto anybody who comes through this underneath area from the windmill. The point will open for Light, but it's LGD who have the numbers, at least you would think, as once again, we're seeing the support start to pop off this time from the perspective of Light Gaming. They find 2 eliminations, but it's not enough to keep the point in their favor. It'll flip at 20%.
Very interesting commitment there from Light Gaming, trying to dive the pull port combination. I mean, you have the Storm Arrow to worry about with Kaneki, and then there was nobody to deal with Wanli, who was able to fly freely.
Yeah.
Secret and Wanli basically got to live for free, and they built their ultimates because of that. LGD Gaming are going to be coming up on a 5-pack of ultimates for this next fight, and that long staggered one as well. Light Gaming, on the other hand, are trying to figure out what composition they want to run. You just saw Night God swap in between 2 different heroes, going to take the long-range battle against Kaneki. Going to get a little bit more shield break as well. Huiz didn't find any value in the Widowmaker, but this double sniper composition around Unai and Roshan can find success. You could be building for a Graviton Surge combo as well, as Roshan finds Rookie early.
And you can see Night God is so worried about where Wanli has gone off to. Meanwhile, Kaneki is going to have a dragon really, really quickly here. As long as he finds one more shot, there it is. Do you pull it out in this instance? You've already lost Wanli, one of your big damage dealers. He's actually going to throw it, kind of mismanaged as it just goes right past. We'll actually take down his counterpart, but the damage has already been dealt as nearly the entire front line goes. But Unai, what are you doing up here? As he is an absolutely free kill. And just like that, there's opportunity to fight this back for LGD. The point has slipped back in favor of Light Gaming, but you're going to have numbers to at least contest, if not put the pressure on Light to make the play. No ultimates available for either team as of yet, but Sentry very close to grabbing one before Rookie finds that pull out of midair. And well, that might just be enough for the flip to come through. It's still being contested, but the only player left alive is going to be Roshan, and he will fall very quickly. Rookie doing what he can to put his pressure everywhere and to everybody. And well, that'll be enough for the flip to come through. It'll stall at 51% for Light.
But all of those stalling tactics that Light Gaming continuously find themselves in is just so much ultimate charge going over to LGD Gaming, and they look very healthy in the ultimate economy environment, and they're able to play with it very wonderfully. Wanli over to the Tracer now. Huiz is going to take that battle as well. Unai finally built the Graviton Surge, but Night got onto this 4th hero of the game, that Doomfist now. They have nothing to go inside of the Graviton Surge. It's going to have to be raw damage. LGD Gaming, they do have the Nano Boost. They do have the Valkyrie as well, so a certain amount of sustain is going to be able to come through, and they're going to be working around with damn near 6 ultimates as well.
Wanli just gets away with a life, and then he was not so fast, but a really great stick coming in from Night God. So now Tanshu will throw down the bongo, supercharger into play. Kaneki has the dragon strike to use. Maybe he'll find that one a little bit more guided this time around. We'll see one player sleeping, but it's actually be the primal rage that comes in. Hugh is actually able to find a stick on the Tanshu as well. So again, we have not seen Tracer gameplay all that much, and at least not dual Tracer play in some time, but we're getting some hints of it here in China, and it was 99%, but Light Gaming was able to flip things around as they won the team fight.
I mean, hell, there's no Brig on the field. You might as well play Genji and
Right?
Tracer, right? I mean, he's like, ain't nothing stopping me at that point, right? Tanshu is actually going to take that 1v1 now in the Winston department. Rookie holding on to this whole hog ultimate is going to be really hard to find value. Personal bubble pop for Unai, trying to build up that second Graviton surge. But again, Light Gaming have to use a lot of ultimates just to flip the point. We are inching towards a last fight territory. Rookie whipping out the whole hog actually finds Unai, and that's going to be a big pick.
Yeah, 100% Swine right there coming through to find one, and Wan Li has angles to keep the support line back, and it's actually just going to find separation and forcing the Transcendence out of B612 just because of the pressure and the isolation. You need to turn this around if you're Light Gaming. They're able to take down Tanshu, but it costs them Night God's life, and that might be too much, as again, you can see now that there is a Brig on the field, Kaneki's able to find himself too, and that might just be enough because Wan Li, there's no response for him whatsoever since B612 has fallen. It's going to come down simply to Roshan to try to make a play as he comes out of spawn on the Winston, but I'm not sure if he's even going to get here in time. Overtime is in play at the moment. Night God goes down, Unai goes down. Here comes Roshan. He's only there for a brief reprieve, and that will likely be it, as LGD will finish things off the 100-99. And some interesting looks kind of back and forth so far, Panda. You know, I don't want to, again, sing just the praises of LGD because there were some really skeptical moments that I had, but specifically for Light Gaming, you were on the Roshan train. I got to kind of figure out, as we bring in Nori back into the mix here, what's been going wrong for Light Gaming, mostly in their support and frontline game, it seems like.
I mean, this has been a fairly back and forth battle between these two teams. And what I really want to bring it to is Light Gaming seem to struggle with spam damage. You know, as soon as LGD bring out that Sombra or the Hanzo, sorry, not the Sombra, the Pharaoh or the Hanzo, and they start spamming down shields, then yes, the tank line does start to struggle very, very much, and they aren't able to bring it back around. And as much as the supports are trying to put the resources into them, they're not able to survive. What I really found interesting, LGD have this habit of overcommitting a lot of their ultimates, but it seems like they kind of place their ultimates ineffectively. So what looks like, it starts to look like Light Gaming are winning the fight, but actually LGD are kind of pulling ultimates out of Light Gaming because LGD's ult charge has been so good. So they use a couple of their ults, force some ultimates out of Light, and invariably actually win the fight. It's been fantastic to watch, and Light really struggled to take the point without ultimates. So as soon as they pull those ultimates out, Light just they can't get back on point.
You take a look at some of these highlights here as well, and one thing to note about the compositions in between LGD and Light Gaming as well is you have one that plays more for poke and one that has a little bit more win conditions, one that thrives in chaos, and one that just simply is chaos as well. You see Light Gaming, they don't simply understand what they are trying to look for as well. They have no win cons in their compositions as well, but through LGDs, they seem to have a plethora of them.
So I want to bring up just one last talking point, just frontline versus frontline. Has Tanshu just been out playing, or is it mostly from the support of Hoyo-chan that's just carrying the front line of LGD for you, Panda?
I think that it's mostly the support line that is looking for Tanshu to look a whole lot better. Not aggressive today so far, but we have many more maps to analyze that much further.
All right, well, we'll send things to a small break before we get into map number 2, LGD with the 1-map lead so far over to the newcomers in Light Gaming. We'll see if they can bounce back and try to make this a series, or will LGD fix some of their corrections that they needed to from last season as they look to make a powerful run through China's contenders. That and more when we come back with map number 2. Hello, everybody. Welcome back. I hold shift with Panda, or Alan and Andy. We're going to get familiar with you guys. We're all family here in Overwatch Chinese Contenders. That's exactly what we want, exactly what you're going to get. We've got map 2 coming up. It's going to be Paris, Panda, your favorite map in the entire set of Overwatch. We're going to be seeing that one for our assault coming through. Don't you shake your head and know how much you love this map.
No, don't lie to the audience here. I mean, Paris, I'm not going to lie, Paris is probably one of my least favorite maps, but it definitely brings out some of the more interesting compositions. I mean, this is where Bunker was informally introduced as well. You saw all the way up to the Overwatch League. Paris Eternal, infamously running the Baptiste composition at the highest level of play so far. And I think this is where LGD is going to be able to thrive, right? We got to see a little bit more of that pull pork composition coming out as well, but it also offers a certain amount of longer sightlines as we get a sub here for LGD Gaming. Going to see Kadalis coming in for Kaneki. Previously, you saw in their first week match, Kadalis was subbed in for Wanli. Now we get to see it in for Kaneki. So it's going to be an interesting style coming out here for them. Kadalis was very impressive on the Sombra, even more impressive on the Widowmaker as well. So speaking of those longer sidelines, we're going to have to see how they end up pulling it out. But I'm, again, going back to the previous point of the pull pork composition coming out from Rookie and Tanshu. It's very impressive coming out on Well. Definitely a map that you can you can make it a longer lasting style, especially on first point when you're playing on the plateau. Attacking it, a lot of analysts call this a very attack heavy map as well, but it's hard to break through all of those shields. So it basically comes down to how you're going to try to snowball over to second once you finally get past all those shields, once you get past all of those defensive capabilities, whether it's a Baptiste, whether it's a Ana, or whether it's even a Mercy as well. There's just so much that you have to try to break through, especially when they're playing on that that very early plateau of the first point. So what I'm most interested to see is how both of these teams try to attack this point. Previously on all three stages of Ilios, we saw Light Gaming try to force their way around a dive composition, whether it was Roshan on the Wrecking Ball or on the Winston.
Right.
It was a little bit of a disjointed dive, looking for a big splash damage, trying to build up a big primal rage, trying to break everything up, but to little no success. There was some good bubbles coming through from Rookie at the time, or from the Zarya player at the time, but it just was not enough. You need a little bit more sustain for that Winston to try to exist through there. And that's typically where you see a little bit more of a 3-2-1 composition coming through. We haven't really seen that same success that we saw from Light Gaming previously in their first week matchup. We're going to have to see if they can try to clean things up. As you see the map pool on your screen, we are in fact heading over to Paris.
I was about to say, when it came down to the dive specifically for Light Gaming, I think that's really where we're going to see the true colors of what this team has to offer, because we saw that one instance on Ilios where they tried to dive onto the Orisa and it did not work as well as I think they would have liked it to have. So I'm really interested to see how this map's going to go. I know it's your favorite map out there, but I really think that a lot of true colors come through here. You know, we'll get the whole color wheel coming through as far as what Light Gaming is to bring to the table. So for LGD, again, we had a lot of concerns about them throughout the first season of Chinese Contenders this year, and it looks like Tanshu has fixed some of his over-aggressive issues, but there's still some work to be done in the damage department specifically as far as when they're using what is Nori very properly managed. So LGD on their first offense will be dealing with Roshan up front, and goodness, he actually almost falls, and how devastating would that have been? Looking for some initial charge, only actually finds 19% before he comes back. At least fortunately, Sentry will get a lot of Valkyrie percentage due to all that healing that comes through, but they gave up a lot of space, and all of a sudden Wanli coming through. Kadalis, you talk about his swap, he finds a crucial headshot onto Sentry. Roshan also falls, and just like that, Kadalis in the kill feed for more. How about another for the young Korean all-star coming into play? And that will be point A, just like that. No problems from LGD.
It's so oppressive, the composition that LGD Gaming is coming out with, and we can talk more about the over-aggression of Tanshu. Kind of hard to be over-aggressive when you're playing the Orisa. Yeah, I got 4 legs just hard planted into the ground, and kind of hard to YOLO Swaggins your way into the backline on that character. But what it sets up is the double sightline, the double sniper gets to thrive in as well. LGD, or Light Gaming on the other hand, rolling out with the Winston and the Zarya again, a look that they have been trying to make their most comfort of a pick around Night God's Sombra. It's a very interesting style, so they're going to have to swap over Roshan Will to the Reinhardt, making this a little bit more of an understanding composition that we know and love around the 3-2-1.
Nice.
Rookie gets hacked, Roshan comes in, Wanli goes down.
But Rookie actually still finds elimination, and Roshan is low, so this fight is not exactly over yet. The halt comes through. Not able to find much in the back end, but it will allow for the reprieve and the retreat backwards. A nice little soft reset here for LGD as they look for another angle of approach. Kadalis, goodness, if he hits that shot, he actually does connect down to 1v6. Oh, man, a headshot on the who is. Oh, my goodness, Kadalis. Okay, young man. Go ahead and put yourself on one. Goodness, Kadalis.
Stop this, man.
Oh, my, it's over. It's done. Shocking. Kadalis doing his best Carpe impersonation from season 1. Looking sick. Point B, gone. Nothing to talk about. Kadalis did it all.
So let's now you see the best Carpe impression. Now one of the probably the best Widowmaker in the league right now, Overwatch League, is DM, right?
Yeah.
And where did DM come from? Was none other than Chinese Contenders used to play on a team called Lucky Future Zenith. I would say putting on his best DM impression, making an emphatic statement coming in here on the second map for LGD Gaming. And I say emphatic very loosely because both Point A and Point B were heavily taken off of a multitude of headshot eliminations from that individual as well. And that's the thing too, right? You talked about how there was one pick that came out from Light Gaming on their defense off the hack onto Rookie. But this isn't 3-3. Once you lose the one pick, the fight isn't the fight isn't simply over. You see, we can just rotate. Tanshu puts down a protective barrier onto the main choke line, and that allows the sight line to be created. The space was provided for Kadalis to find those shots as well. We cannot undersell the sleep dart that came through on to Roshan, so the big rectangular shield was not properly in place, and that allows the chaos to be thrived around for a high-octane Widowmaker player such as Kadalis. And like you said, I mean, you want to make a statement, you might as well come out there and just click on some heads, man, because that is just one within its own self.
Goodness, I mean, I'm not going to put you on the analyst spot here too much because that's just, I mean, what you saw is what you got. It was Kadalis just winning out outside of the soft reset. I will give props again. We did see that little hack that come through for the dive, but again, it doesn't fully pan out for Light Gaming. The idea is correct. The execution call is correct. It's just the sheer actual falling through on the execution is a touch short. So for Light Gaming, let's see what they can do. They have a massive time bank to look at. 5:52 looming over them from LGD's presence. Night God and Heurix are going to try to pull off the double sniper comp, and Kadalis will once again be pulling out the Widow, already finding a couple of connections at 29% to an infra site. Here comes the Halt, not going to find much with it, and Heurix will actually find a kill this time on the Rookie. So we get Widow v Widow battles back and forth. Kadalis doing what they can to try to put the pressure on, but actually gets taken down by Night God, waiting for that pull to come through. Now Hugh is able to find 2 body connections onto 1 airborne, and that might be enough, but again, you get the res back up on Rookie. Tanshu finds Heurix, and this is going to be a really tough bunker to break.
It's going to be really tough in DI. LGD Gaming putting on a makeshift clockwork comp minus the Roadhog. Unite finally finds Wan Li, and that's a lot of damage out of the way. The solo support composition from Light Gaming allows this early Valkyrie to come through, and that is so much sustain. And the damage boost to go ahead and get chained in between all of the members of Light Gaming. It's going to allow them to take point A. It's very hard to retake this, but Kadalis just like, hey, I'm not going to let you walk away with this one for free. But LGD Gaming, again, because of that fight, because of the high bursting composition that they will have the supercharger, and they're going to have a barrage here as well. Rookie is going to stick on this Torbjorn. And the best part about Torbjorn is that you have the turret. Does not miss, not one bit. But I got to talk about Light Gaming's composition. They are heavily invested in Unite being on the Zarya. They want this Graviton Surge as a win fight condition. They are building up to a Graviton Surge Dragon Strike combination, but Unite is staggering behind, not finding all of the charge in the world, both in Ultimate and in Particle Beam Cannon charge as well. So it's going to be very interesting to find as well. Good stun. Night God's going to clean up Wan Li once more.
About to say, Kadalis with that little pick as point A was being captured was a, by the way, I'm still here kind of move, but he does get pulled and taken down. Night God, like you mentioned, very close to having himself a dragon, but the bad news is the Graviton Surge is not here yet. The barrage from downtown, it actually finds one, and it keeps him alive. Wan Li with 2. Heroic play from the Pharah, but again, big credit to the support because it was Hoyo-chan who made the play really come to reality.
Yeah, I love this composition from LGD Gaming, and Wan Li's actually going to swap over. He's going to put on his J Silly impression. Going to be able to lock down a little bit more choke line defense, lobbing those grenades, traps, the mines as well. And this is going to be mind games for Light Gaming to figure out which way they're going to take this fight next. Not going to be able to have a impressive time bank such as 5 minutes 52 like LGD currently has. They have to work through this EMP, the Nano Boost, and the Valkyrie as well, but they are working towards this Graviton Surge combo, and B612 does have the whole hog, so they can break any shielding, and they can push a lot of members back. But Kadalis again. Oh, stop this, man.
The res. I mean, yeah, it's going to be 6v6.
That's how you stop this, man.
The res comes through, and you see Unite just has, the Graviton Surge is not built yet, and Night God just gets frustrated and says, I'm letting this thing rip. The EMP now coming through. LGD, as they're able to get Kadalis back up, are able to find Unite, who has still not found his Graviton Surge. Wan Li takes out the other frontliner in B612, and LGD fight things back 5v6. Another big res from Hoyo-chan able to come through to make sure they still had numbers to contest. But Unite, where is your Graviton Surge? This is going on for too long.
not finding any value in just the bubbles alone. Being able to mitigate much damage and really comes away with not finding much charge whatsoever. Does have the Graviton Surge finally, but I have to rely on the Supercharger, maybe combine it with the Whole Hog, but this commitment to this composition, it's a lack of sustain going on to second point, and there's just so much damage you have to worry about for LGD Gaming that these rotations have to be lightning fast, and you have to be able to set up on point very quickly, and you have to get through this shield of Tonshu to be able to find any success, but at that point, you have to worry about Kadalis hanging out on this backline.
Nice purple comes into Unai, who might not be able to get his Graviton Surge off once again. B612 with the whole hog coming through. Both supercharges fall. Here's the grab. It only sucks into one, but Wanli does fall. But still, Kadalis is popping off in the backline. He finds himself his counterpart, and now he's looking for heads up front. Not quite able to find anything that doesn't have a shield yet. Is being very patient, but the time is ticking away as far as the capture percentage. Already through 2 and the really 3/4 ticks. And we will get a little back and forth. Kadalis finds another big hedge at this time on the Unai. And without that front line being here, LGD will deplete the tick and hold.
Oh, look out for the Falcon Mercy. I think the commitment to Light Gaming's composition has gone on for a little bit too long at this point. Big stagger coming through on the Sentry, and they're going to have to cycle out to a different composition. Night God sticking around on the Hanzo, going to have to see if they go over to the Sombra. They will. Sentry, you can only imagine. There is the Lucio as well with B612 onto the Moira. Again, that's self-sustained. Cannot live as Ana, a very low mobile hero. Could be getting popped in the head by Kadalis. The infrared sight's going to wear away here. But again, LGD Gaming in their ultimate economy just looks so healthy. This look from LGD Gaming is just so good for the way that they look. It snuffs out any sort of over-aggression that we saw in that first week match against Bilibili Gaming, and they're able to find so much success.
And here comes a little dive coming up for Light Gaming. Kadalis shuts it down by himself. Just put this man on screen. That's all I want to see. It's just Kadalis popping. He shuts down the entire dive by himself with 2 picks. Goodness. And please, just give him the Moira. Give him the Moira. Oh.
It's a good fade there from B612. Again, the Coalescence is very fast charging ultimate, especially when you're facing so much damage coming through. LGD Gaming now going to be giving up a hero swap. Rookie is going to go over to the Zarya, a little bit more of a self-sustain coming through as the dive comes soon after. Unai on the Diva can complete this dive composition coming through, but how the heck do you even find the dive too? I mean, Wanli's going to be placing a trap behind the shield of Tonshu, and then you have to worry about the Widowmaker on top of the Bio Nade, the Sleep Darts coming through as well. Hoyo Chen over to the Lucio as well. There's just so much sustain from LGD Gaming, and here comes a Riptire.
Yeah, that's a good follow-up that time around, as it would be B612 able to get himself a damage orb in there. And that will be enough for Roshan to at least find one, but it's not enough to win the fight yet. Coalescence is going to get committed. Unai is out of mech already. They will find the Supercharger, but that's an entire Coalescence just for the Supercharger? You wouldn't think that's worth whatsoever because there's no healing on the back end of this. LGD, once again, are going to hold after almost everything that was available was committed from Light Gaming. This is a total, I mean, you said it, this is a totally different LGD from when they played Bilibili.
And I love to see it too. They're able to fully implement a new DPS pickup from the offseason of Kadalis, and they look absolutely impressive coming out of the stall. Doomfist found a couple picks. Going back over to the Widowmaker, and I gotta say, very happy to see it as well. Light Gaming, on the other hand, they're having a staggered fashion. They will get 2 ticks, so this last fight territory for Light Gaming is going to be the end-all, be-all. Can they find success in this EMP? Can they build the rest of this self-destruct to combo along with it, or will it go with the Primal Rage? The only problem is, again, how are you going to get past this composition? Wanli goes over to the Roadhog, completes this triple tank composition. Good hack coming through, but Kadalis already finds a pick. He finds 2. Hack!
Goodness gracious, dude. He said, Widow, I'm kind of bored of getting headshots with Widow. I'll just switch over to Hanzo. Oh, buddy, this is absolutely silly. And, well, the Korean, most formerly who played on Pantheon in the Pacific Contenders season in Season 3 of 2018, is making a return in a big way here in China. Down to just 10 seconds. The stagger on Unai is absolutely massive. And if they are able to hit this for Light Gaming, it will be absolutely 1-by-1. And I'm not even sure if anyone's going to get there in time. The EMP is going to have to come out just a touch, which it will. There's the EMP. Only finds 2. None of those were supports. And that's going to be an instant sound barrier into grab, into Dragons. Thanks for playing. If they find the eliminations on both these supports in the corner, it should be GG on this one. And it looks like it very well will. Where was this LGD team last season and on the first week? We did not see this whatsoever, Panda. I've never been more hyped for LGD in my life.
seems that Tanchu finds a lot of success in not having 2 legs on the field, but maybe 4. So I think that's going to be, again, the biggest cornerstone of success for this team thus far.
Well, Nari, I don't know how much you like Widowmaker headshots, but we love them. So I just got to get your take as far as what Kadalis has been able to bring to the table here for LGD.
Kadalis brings clicked heads to the table.
Hard facts.
Like, I don't know how much
You're not
better
wrong.
you can say it than that. And the biggest issue that Light have was like, they just left him there. Like, they just kind of pretended that he didn't exist. Like, if I don't look at it, then it doesn't exist and maybe it'll go away on its own. And he didn't. He just continued to be his, head-clicking self. And he got so much value. It didn't matter what composition they were running, whether it was a goats variant, whether it was some sort of a dive-esque thing, even if it was the double sniper. Kadalis was so unfazed. He just continued along on his Merry Widow way. And then, of course, swapping over onto that Hamzah in the last fight as well. Didn't matter. Still managing to get so much value, particularly because Hamzah with the Storm Arrow that increases the amount of spam damage, because at the end there, they were going for a very high spam composition to control all of the different areas of getting onto second points. I mean, we're watching this highlight now and just look,
Wow.
like, it's insane. How do you click it like that? Come on, man. Kadalis definitely the kingpin for LGD at the moment.
Yo,
Well, look at the composition. Look at the composition that they've been playing too. I mean, how do you even dive that? The target focus coming through from Light Gaming is just so sporadic that they're not trying to disregard the shield. They're trying to actually break it and go for the Orisa of all things. And that is what's most confusing to me, because you have to respect the sightlines of Kadalis. You have to work your way around the terrain of the map, and then you're going to be able to have to find success in diving it as well. But the sustain coming through on this individual, they're putting so many resources in just to keeping Kadalis alive and creating space for them to find all of these shots. At that point as well, you have to take it slower. You have to be more methodical. You have to give up time and space just to find the engagement, and we haven't seen that from Light Gaming. They're playing way too aggressive today.
Well, it feels like it's aggression without follow-up, and for
Right.
one reason or another, whether it be because Kadalis pops off or because maybe it's not a full team committing, and we saw, again, a couple instances where they wanted to commit but not quite able to do it. So issues with dive, that's what we have so far, at least in my notebook, as far as what we're seeing from Light Gaming. And on the other side, just put in all capital letters, Kadalis, because that's what's happening so far. That's what will take us to our halftime. We'll be back with map number 3 to see if LGD will technically become the winners of this set. We will still see all 4 maps regardless, or can Light Gaming maybe find a way to get back into the set? We'll find out with map 3 just after this. Hello, welcome back. LGD currently up 2-0 on Light Gaming. A courteous wave from my boy Panda, my IHOLDSHIFT. Again, you can just call us Andy and Alan. We're just the 2A brothers, AA batteries coming at you right now. You like that? Your mind was going the same direction. I saw it. You were about to say it if I did. I'm glad that I could beat you to the punch, though.
That's right, yeah. Find yourself a co-caster that is on the same brain wavelength as mine. That's for damn sure. And find yourself one that flames you as much as mine as well. But on the other hand as well, one thing that we cannot flame is the amount of success that LGD Gaming has been able to find as well. We've been kind of hinting at the same narrative over and over again. And we walked into this match talking about how over-aggressive the front line of LGD Gaming previously were. Tanchu on the Winston, Reinhardt, not so much. Tanchu on the Orisa, kind of nice to see. I mean, when you don't have the ability just to yeet yourself into the back line and die ever so, it's being able to find a lot of good things as well. They're going to be able to come through with one more sub as well. They're going to keep Kadalis in, which, thank you, LGD Gaming. They're going to sub in Kaneki in for Wan Li. So we head over to our hybrid map this time around, and you have to wonder if we're going to see a little bit more Widowmaker play, some Hanzo extraordinaire, or maybe Kadalis is going to be able to showcase some of that Sombra play that we got to see last week against Billy Gaming on Havana. It was very, very nice as well. All things considered, what they are going to be looking for, again, is that little bit more of a slow pace, more methodical play style that they've been able to find so much success on me. When you are playing that way of a composition against Light Gaming, who, if you're looking at Roshan and you're looking at the way that this team likes to play in their 3-2-1 composition, it's all centered around a uncoordinated dive at this point. Their target focus is lackluster. They don't really know what they're looking for, and they're trying to focus the wrong targets in that composition as well. But you can also chalk it up to just how well LGD Gaming are playing this. They are playing for the space. They're playing to deny said space as well. And when all of that is being put to rest, then you just have Kadalis just popping off in the back line.
You know, it's interesting you had brought up at the very beginning of this whole narrative about how Tanju, you know, again, why we hit on him so hard at the beginning of last season, the beginning of this year, he was just, again, one of the biggest issues for LGD was the fact that he kept diving in. You put him on a front liner where his shift key literally makes him stand still longer.
It makes him slower.
It makes him slower. Yeah,
I like it.
All right, Tanju. But I mean, okay, we're playing around Tanju a little bit. He has corrected a lot of his mistakes and has been a big reason why LGD found not only success at the end of season 1 of this year, but also why LGD apparently is finding a lot of success here today. Of course, not the same story to start their season versus Billy, but for Light Gaming, you know, this is the thing. We obviously mentioned on Tanju, frontline has been playing very well. We mentioned Hoyo-chan playing very well with the support game. Kadalis popping off on the DPS. It's literally just been the simple fact that none of those things happen if the other two parts of that composition aren't functioning on a full circuit as well. Because for Light Gaming, like you mentioned, they're attempting to hit the go call, but all the wires aren't in the right place at the moment.
Yeah, and we can even accentuate off that support line as well. Secret was one of the more outstanding flex supports that came around in last season of Contenders. As we take a look at our next map, it's actually going to be Nubani, and that accentuates my point that much further. Secret's Ana is very impressive. You play that the same way that you see Kadalis playing the Widowmaker, not staying in the same place for too long, recycling out different positions and different rotations as well. It allows your co-support, which is Hoyo-chen on the Mercy, to find a lot of success. Extending the beam of the Caduceus staff is very impressive within its own self, and again, cannot stress it enough. It only sets up the rest of the team for success. So gonna have to see how they want to play this one out. Nubani, point A little bit more of an open point, but it all comes down to how you take those rotations. Do you go main, look for the dive onto the higher ground, or do you take it away from them as well on a more Ryan Zarya-based composition? Again, I wanted to stress this coming off of Paris. Something that I want to see from Light Gaming is taking this a little bit slower. They need to stop playing so darn aggressively. If they're going to hope to find any success, they have to give up time. They have to give up space, so that way they can deny it away from the opposition of LGD Gaming, which is going to have on their attack first, Tanju onto the Winston, a 3-2-1 composition. And these Chinese Contenders teams, they really like to pair this Winston with the Zarya, which I like the Zarya if you can get the charge. It helps your Ana be able to sustain in the backline, but it's a little bit of an awkward composition in the mid-fight.
Speaking a little bit awkward, a little bit of a body bump up top as both Winstons went up top and met each other midair. And for me, I'm most interested to see what LGD not necessarily does here on point A, but how they're able to push in the street space. They have not looked good in that second and third stage when it comes down to their hybrid approach, at least not as of yet. Sentry will find the res onto B612, so we will get a full 6-on-6 action, and really a lot of charge going to you. Now you see him glowing straight neon right there as he's glowing through. And now all of a sudden, if the EMP comes through early, he's able to find 5 just like that. Kadalis, is there a hero that he cannot play? Because that's one of the faster charging EMPs. Night God had one as well right before he fell, but got hacked in the meantime. And LGD, they open up the point, and how about with the fact that that team fight ends so late in the capture? This is a lot of free push.
And 5 minutes and 10 seconds on the clock, they actually gain time. You start the whole darn map with 4 minutes. You gain time if you're LGD Gaming, and a plethora of ultimates as well. They only use the rally, and they only use the EMP. So they're going to have the nano boost to go over Tanju, and soon after the Graviton search from Rookie, it might as well be a point capture as Light Gaming switch their composition around, investing the nano boost, and Roshan over to the Reinhardt, going for that slow-paced style, and Sentry onto the Lucio. It all bases themselves around how can Night God play this EMP.
Yonai, not sure where that grab was going, but it doesn't really find a whole heck of a lot. And just like that, grab in response, LGD. Well, I was a little bit worried and kind of looking forward to seeing how they were going to approach the second and third stage. This second stage is just about all over, as this Ana's going to be stalled out for quite literally an eternity, trying to play with their life as much as possible. And B612 might actually get away from this nice little bubble to save a life. So Light Gaming will be able to come back as a full 6, but it comes at the cost of the second checkpoint already. Still over 5 minutes and 40 seconds to play.
And they have a snowball potential here as well. Kadalis more than halfway to the EMP. This allows so much space to come through from LGD Gaming. Tanju onto the Reinhardt this time around. They have the sound barrier to combat against Night God's EMP this time around. Rally is popped from Hui, so they want to hard engage this. Good sound barrier from Hoyo-chen.
It keeps everybody alive through the EMP, which, again, that was the first EMP from Night God that he had channeled at the end of that point A fight. Now, all of a sudden, Kadalis at 86% boosted his Roshan, but he just has to fall back. There's just not enough follow-up behind this, and this is, again, what we really keep mentioning. Like gaming, you see what they want to do or what they're attempting to do, but they're not fully able to commit to the call. So now Kadalis with an EMP. It takes down 5, including every support, with the exception of Sentry, but he falls immediately after off the hack. LGD, welcome to Chinese Contenders, because we're just going to go ahead and say that your week 1 match was nothing but a fluke, because this is absolutely clean Overwatch being played.
Nightgod coming over to the Mei. This is now in full stall at 4 minutes and 40 seconds. The Graviton search from Rookie's going to lock everybody in spawn. No one can touch the point.
Dude, what?
LGD Gaming looking mad impressive coming through here on Numbani. And again, the snowball effect when you have the Sombra on the field is absolutely massive. You can win fights with EMP, which then allows the next fight to be won with Graviton, which then allows your supports to feel, well, little to no pressure, which then allows them to have the support ultimates for when they absolutely need to. Like you said, Nightgod's first EMP and only EMP through the entire defense. Well, it got sound buried. And he couldn't find any sort of value. And then when they started to find the engagement after B612 put the nano boost onto Roshan, you can't take that fight into the tunnel area. It's in the attacker's favor at that point. You have a slight high ground advantage, but I mean, Roshan didn't have any shields. So if they got pressured out, if they got hacked even, it's going to be nowhere to fall back to. You can't necessarily take a fight as the defenders until it comes around the first, if not the second bend on that last and final point. And it was just so darn awkward for the side of Light Gaming to try to take any sort of engagement on that third point. And then they just allowed Kadalis to do what Kadalis does, and that's just, well, find your backline. He seems to exist in Light Gaming's backline, whether it's from their side of the field on the Widowmaker, but this time around on the Sombra, it's just mad impressive too, and you can see that communication coming through as well. But I want to stress to another point as well. Another member that we were talking about coming into this this week of Chinese Contenders was Kaneki. Kaneki's Brigitte play has been very lackluster. One of the more aggressive ones I've ever seen, and gets picked out because of it, which then allows a defensive snowball to come through on the opposing team. This time around, playing a little bit more.
He's playing with Tanchu a lot more. He's playing with Tanchu a lot more. Yeah, I liked it a lot. And I'm interested, again, you know, as far as other things to look for, I'm interested to see Unai play, as, again, he had that Graviton Surge charged, essentially, at that first engagement, or at least after that first engagement at A when they were playing defensively. He's going to be coming back on the Zarya once again. So he was out damaging and out charging Rookie in that last fight. It was just Kadalis doing Kadalis things. He's already at 30% in EMP, by the way. Just because, in case you missed it, it's only been 30 seconds into this match, and he's already found that much percentage and more. So now all of a sudden, you take a look at how this approach is going for Light. They're able to find their way through the Galleria and over towards the point itself. And in trouble is Tanchu. Will be picked out this time. Knight got able to help find a kill, and that might be enough for them to find an opening point just as fast, if not maybe a touch faster than LGD. It just comes down to, will they even touch whatsoever? Nice little shot there from B612 to finish off Hoyo-chan. And yep, that's actually not bad at all. Light Gaming finds a very clean opening start here today.
Back and forth. Both teams having a struggle with the defense as well. Good job to catch Tanchu out without the leap or the bubble, too. So Light Gaming able to walk away with this one. Nightgod actually able to even things up as far as EMP charge is concerned. Tanchu over to the Reinhardt for the Streets phase as well. And one thing that you have to look at why these Chinese Contenders teams like to fully invest into the Zarya on first point is because it's set to 2 up per second with the Graviton Surge. But Rookie finding little to no value is very far behind a Unai on this Graviton Surge. And here comes an EMP from Nightgod.
Finds 5, secretly get the nano boost out, but Tanchu is purpled, so he's not going to be able to get any healing whatsoever. Roshan also able to take down Rookie. You mentioned that head-to-head in the Zarya. How about Unai? Well, he's at 100% charge and just melting anybody who comes in his path. And goodness, Light Gaming matching the pace of LGD. And that's going to be really crucial because, again, they haven't had to use anything besides just the EMP so far, so for Light Gaming, if you can finish off this push cleanly with the Graviton Surge, how about that? EMP comes out in response, but there's already been the damage dealt. Big Purple able to follow up for Light Gaming. They will clean things up, even though they were all absolutely hacked. Second point gets captured, and how about that? 5 minutes and 45 seconds on the clock.
I disagree with that EMP from Kadalis. You trying to use it defensively. Typically, you'll see a Diva Bomb or even a support ultimate, for example, to try to keep yourself alive in a Graviton Surge, but never really an EMP because all it really takes is your Reinhardt to cleave through it and find massive value as well. Tanchu not able to keep any sort of footing on the ground. Roshan has the Earth Shatter. Hui's with the rally. They can rally engage this and find a bash and a very good shatter as well.
Oh, here we go. Graviton Surge to start things off for Rookie. Tanshu also
barrier.
with the Shatter will take a couple, but the barrier came over to live. Actually responded for LGD as well. Connecting now with a rally of their own. Very scrappy engagement right in front of the payload, but it's Tanshu who finds his counterpart. You already see Unai is all the way in his own backline saying, I want to have nothing to do with this fight. He's at 70% to a grab, would love to retain his charge on his actual particle cannon as well. Will be battered a little bit and will be taken down. Big pick from LGD to punish, and now it comes down to hitting the gas pedal and finding any more staggers that you possibly can. They'll find B612, and that looks to be about it. He will also actually drop, so big staggers coming through, and just like that, LGD are winning the ultimate economy.
Should have just fully committed to getting out Unai, and that's going to allow Rookie to take the advantage in the Graviton Surge charge. They have another EMP. Sikadalis just hanging out right above along with Tanshu. They have to expect this thing to be coming through. You can see Light Gaming just jostling with position, trying to figure out how to attack this. They get grabbed up.
Yeah, they were too worried about the EMP. The grab just comes in for free. Everybody gets low. They're likely just going to hold on to this EMP as the kills are coming fast and furiously. That looks like that might be the 9th movie in the sequence at the moment as they're moving so swiftly through everybody from Light Gaming. And it comes down to one small mistake, Panda. Again, this was the other thing that LGD suffered with last season, was not capitalizing on opponents' mistakes. They are 100% doing that here today.
Playing like a lightning in a bottle, too, winning a fight off a grab, then the EMP comes through. Tanshu gets charged away, but the team's right there to follow them up as well. And they're winning fights off of just single ultimates here, Alan, and this is going to be very difficult for Light Gaming to try to deal with because they're using their ultimates very defensively, and they're not being able to find any footing after being EMP'd, so that disables Sentry to try to build any actual charge onto the sound barrier. Not having the defensive ultimate capabilities as well, that disables B612 to have the Biotic Grenade to keep the front line of Light Gaming up as well, and more importantly, the bubbles from Unai. It's just lackluster coming through as well.
Respect the 1v1. Respect the 1v1. Night God, Night God bails out. He takes the white flag in that one. So we'll go ahead and just notch another belt loop in the middle of Hoyo-chan's support gameplay as he technically, I'll say he wins that 1v1. Now Tanshu, payload fight coming back through once again. Roshan hacked. Tanshu not pulling the trigger on the Shatter yet, interestingly enough. He thought he might based on the hack coming through alone, but just biding their time. Still 2 minutes and 50 seconds to play with. EMP comes up, but it only finds the front line. Rookie will counter with the Graviton Surge, as actually Roshan was boosted. Unai, though, able to find 2, and that might be enough for the team fight win, as there's nothing to be used in response. The sound barrier was utilized for LGD, but not enough to capitalize on the fight whatsoever. Now it's going to come down to trying to stagger for as much as possible, delay time, get your frontliners back, get your support back, and if you're LGD, try to find this EMP. 98% is Kadalis. Here it comes, looking for an opportunity to pull the trigger. There's not going to be any actual EMP or anything else. Pardon me. No, their ultimates to follow up the EMP, but Light Gaming just say, we'll take our small reprieve, wait for us to get this Graviton Surge, then re-engage.
3 minutes has passed since the point C capture as well. Another EMP for Kadalis, finds 3 as well. The nano boost already on to Roshan from B612, and Unai goes down.
Really dangerous because it's just going to be Roshan
great
falling.
Shatter.
How do you follow up the Shatter? He's able to take down a couple, but there's still so much support here from Rookie, who's fully charged. And, he's got a grab, won't even need to use it. As Kadalis will find 2. He also avoided that, the Earth Shatter that came in from Light Gaming. So again, huge stagger of time coming off the clock here as Light Gaming are now looking at only about 90 seconds to play.
15-player kill streak over here for Rookie. Does have the Graviton Surge available and the rally to sustain themselves as well. We are inching towards 2 more fights here for Light Gaming to try to find value, but these fights are ending so quickly that Light Gaming are just struggling. They're getting disrupted here, Shift, and it's very difficult to try to find any sort of footing when you have a Sombra player such as Kadalis finding a chronic amount of value here. And LGD Gaming are just playing this so wonderfully, using a handful of ultimates at a time and being able to hold on to the rest for the next.
Here comes the grab. Tanshu following him, just slapping through. Now he's got an Earth Shatter. All of a sudden, EMP comes in, though, and a really good counter EMP from the side of Night God as he finds 5 with that. Tanshu falls quickly. Unai now trying to build up some own charge of his own as he will be having the Graviton Surge ready to go to try to clean this last bit up. Nano Boost is also available.
1v6, Kaneki.
Light Gaming want to come through 1v6, but here comes the sound barrier into play. Rookie's on his way back, but immediately gets hacked and destroyed. The only win condition here is EMP plus Shatter, and it finds everybody. Are you absolutely kidding me, LGD? They find humans, but there's still a lot of targets they have to work their way through. Boosted up is Unai at full charge, a raid boss in its own right. Roshan able to find his counterpart, and that will likely be about it. But LGD, that's the only play they could have made. And
You gotta finish with time, though.
Almost
there it is.
got it. And Light Gaming is, like you mentioned, able to just inch over the finish line. Woo! This is getting a little bit hot and feisty here on New Bonnie.
A little bit hot and feisty, a little bit of spice on top of that as well, too. I mean, again, 5 minutes for point C capture, but it took all the way down to 30 seconds for Light Gaming to cap.
Yeah, Naori, get us back in here because this is the best we've seen Light Gaming, at least offensively. And even still, there were some concerns, but that last bit of push there from Light was absolutely well played out.
I just want to say, like, my favorite part of that whole thing was seeing the two of you like this while you were casting. Like, what is going on? Yeah, it was so pretty true. Insane. So the first note that I made was Kadalis. His ult charge, you guys mentioned it on Sombra, was absolutely ridiculous, and he just kind of kept that going throughout both sides. I mean, for the entirety of the first attack, I was just like, okay, Kadalis, and they just looked really clean. When we swapped sides, then I, started to get a few more notes here. What I will say is that LGD's ult rotation was really good. They would use an ultimate in order to help charge another ultimate, like throwing a nano boost onto a Reinhardt, and then he swings, and then he gets his Earth Shatter, and so you keep going. And while he's taking damage, the Ana is building ult again, so that kind of thing. They were doing that really well to make sure that they had a lot of ultimates in the bank so that they could keep rolling through on their attack. And Light was constantly kind of on the back foot. Coming through, though, LGD got pushed really hard towards third, and yeah, eventually they just kind of dug their heels in.
Well, Light Gaming will have to be on the back foot here as well as they're dealing with a significantly lower tie rank. Thank you so much, Naori, for coming back through with a little bit of extra emphasis on what we saw there in the first half. So now going into the back half of this, likely won't see a third situation where we find a full push. But again, we've been surprised before. Unai, again, doing a nice job of getting near full charge on the particle cannon. And if really, Andy, if you can find another early grab and actually get it off this time, it'd be big. But Kadalis already at 50% to an EMP. How about make that 60 as he's able to help take down Roshan? Again, an early EMP could just be the finish line here as far as LGD full holding on A. Big biotic grenade coming through to find two on the purple. Kadalis is at 100% to EMP. Not even going to have to use it here. Can save it for any staggers that come on in, of which there will likely be none. Light Gaming, once again, suffering and struggling when it comes down to their initial hits.
Not even using a damn ultimate as well. There's Kadalis, the EMP for funsies. Hoyo Chen's going to be able to come in and smack Night God in the face with a melee kill. Hui's on the Soldier 76, locking in the legs. Won't be able to make it there in time. They did get 39% though, Alan, so I mean...
That's something, I guess.
I mean, the win condition's there, right? But I mean, a 5-minute plus time bank for LGD Gaming to find that 1 plus a tick. That's difficult within its own self, too. I mean, we talked about how Unai was able to find a decent amount of value in the particle barriers this time around, was able to get up to damn near full charge, and a lot of damage came through. But, I mean, look, Kadalis was hacked, and they didn't pressure him out. Light Gaming had the open season to go in on the Sombra, who couldn't translocate away, disregarded, and then Kadalis just charged up EMP anyway. Kadalis is finding so much value in just the primary fire of Sombra. I mean, the spread of that gun as well is just so tight that you cannot get too up close and personal. That is why Kadalis is finding a lot of value as well. And again, they're putting a lot of resources in creating space for Kadalis to find that much value as well. Even when they were hacked, you saw that Tanshu came around, you saw that Rookie came around as well, and they were able to keep him alive. I mean, Biotic Grenade, even onto Kadalis as well, couldn't be healed up, still couldn't get eliminated, and it's just that much more success that they're able to find. They are investing, they're putting all of their marbles into this DPS player, and what we saw out of that one map last week against Billy Gaming is coming into fruition here for LGD Gaming, and they're able to find so much success. So 5 minutes and 15 seconds on the board for them to find 40% onto point A capture. Light Gaming playing with this dive defense this time around. Sentry onto the Mercy for the resurrection if anything goes awry. You got to be able to take this very slow pace, kind of bait LGD Gaming onto the point, and find them without cooldowns. It's really the only way that Light Gaming can full hold this.
Unai again up top, really looking at him to make a huge play here. Already pressure being thrown onto the capture point here at A. Up top comes Tanshu. Again, very reserved, just playing up and down they go. Kadalis takes down Roshan though, and well, if you didn't think he might, he's already got an EMP. Not going to come out to play though. Goodness gracious, Kadalis. This LGD team is scary. Flat out, just period. Just the biggest punctuation mark I can throw onto this LGD team, from whatever they did last week, I think they found a way to actually properly utilize Kadalis. You mentioned him on Havana before. As we bring back in Nori, I gotta hit one more time because there's not a lot of analysis we can take away from what we just saw. But what kind of an impact does a player like Kadalis have to just single-handedly escalate a team from mid-tier to high-tier in a region like Chinese Contenders?
Well, now that's a very complicated question because
You're welcome.
yes, I'm secretly hating you. So he does definitely raise the level of play of the entire team. And as we know, this is still a team game. There's no solo carrying involved here. The problem comes in where it's team play. So yes, he does bring it up to a certain extent, but if they need to sub him out, if for whatever reason he's not performing on the day, or if he just up and leaves for another team, they're going to really, really suffer if they're putting too much weight on him as a player. So it's important that they maintain their own individual high standards and not get too complacent. But it is really nice to have that person that you can kind of lean back on, the kind of person that gets like a 3K and helps you win kind of every single fight consistently. I mean, here we're gonna have a look at these highlights, and just LGD have been monstrous. Again, look at these ultimate uses. It's just the way that they use the EMP and then follow it up consistently. It's so important. Like, it's not enough for Kadalis to get that EMP, but the fact that the team is there to consistently follow up on it. I don't know, EMP is just a really powerful ultimate. And what I've found, as opposed to the game we broadcast earlier to this game, there hasn't been a lot of Lucio hide and seek waiting for those EMPs so that you can get that massive sound barrier. And I think that that's something that I'd really like to see a little bit more from the support. Get a read on those Sombras, know when they have EMP, and be ready for it.
You almost have to think that Light Gaming at this point has to drop the Ana and bring in Zenyatta, because you almost need that double defensive ultimate, especially for the Transcendence, to combat it against it, because either you're going to get Earth Shattered or you're going to get EMP'd or Gravitoned, and that's part of the reason why you see those two supports played along with the Brigitte, so you have more frontline sustain on top of the defensive ultimate as well. But Light Gaming just struggling to keep their feet underneath them. We're going to have to see if they can take at least one more map here.
Well, LGD right around the corner from their first 4-0 on the season. But how about this? They would be flawless with Kadalis in the lineup if they were to take this last one, if he stays in, of course. So big looks for LGD. Light Gaming maybe not shining as bright as they were in their week 1 matchup. We'll see if they can find a silver lining here to map number 4 when we come back just after this. Welcome back, friends. We got IHOLDSHIFT and Panda for you guys. Game number 4 coming up in, well, a hot second. But before we get there, I just want to again bring up just one more point of context that we were kind of talking about. Light Gaming had a very impressive first opening week, and again, we're looking at likely what'll be a 4-0 here based on how LGD is playing today. But Light Gaming is not playing tragically or awfully by any stretch. It's just coming down to these small moments that are not quite going their way. You know, a couple of missed ultimates here or there, which have been a little bit sloppier than we saw last week. But I want to just get your impression on Light Gaming from this week versus last week so far, Panda.
Yeah, sure. Light Gaming, they're playing that over-aggressive style, right? They're trying to take the 5v6 when the Sombra is setting up, and that's Kadalis in the backline for LGD Gaming. But what they need to realize is that it's not finding any sort of value. So you need to sort of turtle up, wait for the Sombra to reveal themselves, deal with the Sombra, get the translocator out, and then you can engage on in. So that way the Sombra is back with their team. Now, this is a style that we saw when they did end up beating Flag Gaming last time. Again, Flag Gaming looked a little shaky on their own 3-2-1 composition, but LGD Gaming are a little bit more versed in playing this composition, if you will, and they're kind of doing what the composition was originally made for, and that's all based around Disruption. The 4th map in our pool here for this series is going to be Rialto as we head over to Italy. Going to be interesting to see, especially no swaps coming through for either team. LGD Gaming keeping Kadalis in. Very interesting style as well, because it can enable a lot of Widowmaker play as well. As you see Light Gaming, they're going to be on their defense. You see the silhouettes within their own self. It's going to be a Sombra Widowmaker DPS composition around an Orisa. So I like this turtle up situation that we get to see. It kind of accentuates on the point that I was just hinting at, that you basically need to deal with the backline first and then take it to the front line of LGD Gaming. However, on a map such as Rialto, you might not be so lucky until 2nd or 3rd point because of this bridge and because of the way that Orisa really manipulates this terrain. It can be very difficult for either team to find any sort of success. So expect a lot of slower pace style coming out. Light Gaming actually playing this triple DPS defense. Very interesting within its own self, because you do have a spawn advantage for the attacking team, which you see Secret. Normally playing Ana, swaps over to the Widowmaker, snipes Night God out of the air. Very nice.
See what happens here, because Huez will be the one playing on the sniper for Light Gaming. Kadalis will be on the Tracer, and well, again, you mentioned it, Secret typically playing Ana. I guess one sniper could be subbed out for another as he finds himself another pick, although Kadalis does fall, so we're looking at a 4v4 fight happening. And Secret not quite able to lock down the last shot that was needed to find Nightcon, but it's fine. Kaneki was the one to take him down with the bow. And, well, LGD are steamrolling through point A, and really just because, again, they keep finding out Roshan pretty early on. B612 also not able to find a lot of value in his first life, but comes back and finds a nice little cluster of flak and other different accoutrements inside that cannon to take down his counterpart in B612. You like that word. I see you smiling over there, that accoutrement. It will be the first EMP coming out for Unai. We'll find the front line, Hoyo-chan and Tanchu doing what they can to stay alive. And actually, Kadalis comes in to save the day. So just like that, Unai in the back line is looking to find some action, has to translocate backwards. LGD still have not fully pushed this in. The supercharger comes through. Nice headshot from Secret. Again, one sniper subbing out for another. Doesn't matter if it has the biotic dart or if it has actual rounds itself. But again, here comes Kadalis. This time's on the Tracer. He's up top, looking to put some distraction to Huez. Will blink right across, looking for the support. The focus is good, but not good enough to find the kill. Fortunately, Kaneki's able to pick up the pieces, find himself 3, and LGD will find the first checkpoint.
Added to the list of heroes that we've seen Kadalis will find a lot of success on soon. You have to wonder if Light Gaming's going to swap things up. It doesn't seem like it. They're going to try to invest in utilizing some of these ultimates on this double sniper composition. They will give up EMP, actually. Unai's going to go over to the Zarya. Wonder if Roshan's going to try to join them on the front line. Probably not, just going to try to turtle up. They are here, still looking for the pull force combination. Rookie does have the whole hog available. B612 slightly behind. LGD Gaming, Kadalis drops a pulse bomb, doesn't find anything, but the halt into the Dragon Strike does.
Beautiful combination. Who needs a Graviton Surge when you've got a halt, and that will be enough to take down Unai. Kaneki following up onto Roshan. Now all of a sudden, Kaneki, he can essentially push on forward with the help of Kadalis as they will get right into the fray of things. You can see the DPS doesn't even care. Front line, back line, doesn't make a difference. Just get me up there. The second point is going to be at least contested, but you're going to have to use just about everything you have if you're Light Gaming and you actually want to commit towards this. A big opening pick was they will find Kaneki, but it looks like they will give up this second point, so not going to contest it whatsoever, just giving it away to the LGD, who are looking at just underneath 5 minutes to find the third stage.
Very aggressive push here coming through from Light Gaming on the defense. This shield can get broken from a matter of seconds, but Roshan finds Rookie. The Dragon Strike comes through. A little bit more of a consolation prize, I suppose, for LGD Gaming to try to find the attack here, but Huiz is popping off, man. He's able to find 2 right off the back, and Roshan's going to be able to clean this up. Secret goes over to the Zenyatta. The solo support not really working out any longer. The idea of that composition, especially for the solo support, you put in a lot of value into finding all of these off angles and finding a lot of damage yourself, that your backline, which was Hoyo-chan on the solo support of Mercy, can just fly freely and build up that Valkyrie. Did get used. LGD Gaming going over to a more standard composition, if you will, this 3-2-1 Sombra with Tanchu onto the Reinhardt. It'll be interesting to see how Light Gaming try to sustain themselves. They do have the walls up. B612 does have a whole hog available, though the sustain is very light for the defending team. They do have the damage to back it up.
I was about to say, it only comes down to the damage is there if they hit their shots, really, because you can't imagine they're going to be sticking on double sniper for forever. So LGD, if they find a little bit of value in this opening engagement, they might be able to put themselves into a spot where they'll win the ultimate economy. And yeah, you do see Hoyo-chan getting picked as he was pushed up against the wall, but the frags are actually coming through. The eliminations for LGD are on the back end of this. They do lose Tanchu, and without that shield being there, you wonder how long they'll be able to stay alive in the face of all that damage like you mentioned. But this is what I was about to say. Light Gaming, you have to start making swaps, although they are still staying on the Widow and the, on the Hanzo as well. So interesting calls as they make full-on swaps to the Reinhardt plus the Ana.
Well, they do have a Graviton Surge from Unai. Just got built up very quickly on that last fight, and they have the Dragon Strike as well. There's no defensive ultimate yet. Secret is getting very close, so they need to pull the trigger as soon as LGD Gaming walk through this gate. But Kadalis, much like every other map that we've seen on the Sombra, has an EMP available, which allows LGD Gaming to storm through this choke line and find any sort of value that they are looking for. They're taking a long bend around here, going to take the high ground, trying to find that value, and that allows Secret to finish this charge. Dragon Strike thrown out without the grab. Questionable decision, but it finds
very
value.
questionable. Unai does get hacked, so the Graviton can't come out on the back end of this either. Hughes has to back away almost to another infra site if it makes any kind of a difference. Sentry able to find the res on the Roshan, so at least the front line will be there. But again, he's in a lot of trouble as he's completely separated out. Light Gaming has to push back. Night God finally makes the swap this time over to the Sombra, still holding onto the Graviton surges. Light Gaming, and you have to be thinking, when do you pull the trigger on this? Because it's going to come down to solely the damage coming out of Unai and maybe the slap damage from Roshan, but there's still going to be a transcendence here. Hughes, a big pick on the Kaneki will force things to slow down a touch for LGD.
I like this look from Huiz. He's taking matters into his own sniper rifle and able to shut down so many different sightlines, but LGD Gaming, the inevitable is going to end up happening, which is Kadalis stealthing into the backline, finding the sniper, and that is a lot of value because it allows the space for LGD Gaming to walk forward.
They're going to fight this 5v5, and Tanchu's able to hit a nice Earth Shatter as he takes down his counterpart to Roshan, who gets hacked immediately afterwards. He just need to confirm the damage, take him down. They're able to do it. LGD looking to push on through. They still have a trans. They still have a sound barrier. It's not going to make a difference. Here comes the conversion just after the kills, and oh, Panda, again, just these mistakes from Light Gaming are getting me so worked up. You have to just wait for the grab for the dragon. I mean, they threw it out for essentially nothing, like you mentioned previously, but once again, not able to find the Sombra whatsoever. LG just won that fight 5v5.
What it comes down to, you can even extend this that much more. When you are playing that sort of composition, who is actually spy checking for the Sombra in the backline? It can't come down to Huisa, SMG in the back. You've got to be looking down sight lines to try to find any sort of picks and values, even shield pressure as well. That is where the Brigitte really comes into value, just to try to find any sort of spy checking available if you're not going to bring a Diva and complete the full 3-3. That is what it mostly comes down to. And at that point, Light Gaming, they're getting caught in disruption yet again. This is kind of a reprise of New Bonnie, where they're fully being disrupted and not being able to find any sort of footing. This is a very different look again from LGD Gaming. Bring yourself back to that third point, the second to last push that came through. The mere discretion coming through from Rookie, a previous Rookie even in last season, probably would have looked for a little bit more ultimate charge, but actually respected the sightline from Huiz, which was really, really nice because it got two of different values. It allowed the rest of LGD Gaming to walk forward and to fully shield up onto the front line. The resurrection did come through for Light Gaming, but again, the sustain just wasn't there. They were slowly taking swaps over to go over to their own 3-2-1 mirror, but because the fights were just so staggered, it just wasn't nearly there. Sentry was never available to swap off of the Mercy and go over to the Lucio, and Huiz never find the time to swap over to the Brigitte, so it was just staggered swaps coming through as they try to put on their attack here. But yeah, I was about to say, double sniper Kadalis on the Widowmaker, man. That's I don't know if you want to be playing far into that one, Night God.
Well, he doesn't. Immediately swaps to the Hanzo. Huiz will actually still be playing the Widow. So we'll get a little double sniper battle coming out for us, but Light Gaming pinned up right up against their spawn. It's going to come down to, will they find any success getting out of this spawn as Night God is looking for angles, but again, just throwing out these arrows and essentially praying he'll find a connection. At least they're able to take down Secret, and that will lead to a 5v6, favoring that of Light Gaming. Unai getting on aggression as he is able to get past the bridge, and we'll try to bait out a couple of shots into his particle barrier, but not able to find anything yet. So now all of a sudden, you're getting to the courtyard stage, and LGD, they don't have the same kind of team fight winning ultimates that they had previously.
That's right, but they can build towards this Dragon Strike combo for Light Gaming. LGD, on the other hand, Secret. We'll go over to the Zarya, another hero that we see the flex support pulling out, Hoyo Chen pulling out the Valkyrie Kadalis. My God, man.
I mean, like, again, it's not the fact that Light Gaming is playing poorly. It's just Kadalis just makes a play and forces a 5v6 out. Kaneki can find an angle and says, let's go ahead and let some dragons go on through the mid-street.
Great dragons.
Not able to get any kills, but again, it still finds a lot of damage, delays some time, but more importantly, it splits up the team a little bit more. Although, again, Secret, we talked about him from the flex support. He does get taken down. Dragons in response here for Light Gaming. Kadalis and Kaneki combining for 2. And, well, that might be enough to once again stall things away. Light Gaming decide they want to make a committal call, but LGD say not so fast.
He had walls up. Why would you challenge that, Huiz? Please. Please.
I don't know. This is...
But they're finding value Light Gaming in this pull port combo. It's really where they only find any sort of picks walking in here. I mean, this is devastating. And Night God does use the Dragon Strike, maybe getting closer. B612 can hold on to this whole hog and throw it into the Graviton Surge when it I guess, slowly gets built here, but the self-destruct from Rookie comes in. It does find the supercharger, but it creates so much more space for LGD Gaming to exist.
Delay tactics. It's just sheer delay tactics. B612 pulls in the 100% swine. Isn't going to find any value and does get taken out as Kaneki finds his second set of dragons. And, well, I mean, again, it's just delay tactic after delay tactic after delay tactic. We don't have any team fight winning ultimates. That's fine. We'll throw down a supercharger. How are you going to contest us across this angle? You're not. What's up next? The Diva Bomb. Not able to find any kind of pressure or positioning. LGD then finally have some team fight winning ultimates, and they convert on the opportunity. Light Gaming once again with their backs up against their spawn.
Mad props to Secret living up to their name
Huge.
of flex support. Really coming out of a clutch for that flex style. We've seen so many different heroes from them being played here today. Light Gaming now taking swaps. We're going to have B612 swap over to the Baptiste, which is really nice to see. The Immortality Field is going to give you a certain amount of sustain when you're getting absolutely bodied in the neutral by LGD Gaming and all these different sightlines that they're finding. And that's just the thing again. Kadalis again is finding all these different off angles.
Will be re-res. Kadalis finds more. You know, there was a point in time when we were talking, Panda, how I was a little worried about this meta because this was going to be watching snipers hit shots. But, well, I'm fine with this. Let me see more Kadalis gameplay. I want to see this kid hitting heads. That's all I want to see right now as he's winning fights literally by himself. Down to 30 seconds. The payload has not even escalated to the point of the courtyard. And again, you don't have anything to win for Light Gaming. They're still making swaps. It's going over to the Baptiste now. And Sentry's going back to a Mercy. You're not going to have time to get any of these ultimates. It's going to have to be down to somebody hitting shots.
It seems like they don't really know what they're looking for as far as composition. They're kind of playing around of what can sustain them to even exist on this front line. Roshan's shield gets absolutely melted, and LGD Gaming, they have a plethora of ultimates to throw inside Secret's Graviton Surge. This is last by territory here. Night God has to use the Dragon Strike just to separate and create space for LGD Gaming to get just any sort of footing onto this point.
He can't even follow up on his own separation, so you see the amplification matrix is there. A couple of damage are being thrown through, but Secret's able to combine for the Dragon Strike. Later, Gator, thanks for playing. Chalk it, send it away. 4-0 for LGD coming through. And goodness, it's just, here's the thing, Panda. You know, we'll just take that for what it's worth. It's a 4-0. LGD win. They look good. Light Gaming did not look terrible. They didn't look awful. They just had a couple of small missed moments. It's the simple fact that LGD has found so many new weapons. That time through, it's using the Diva with the Orisa, just going supercharger. You mentioned this, Nori, as we bring you back into this one. It was all about trying to cycle through ultimates until you get that team fight win condition. That's exactly what we saw throughout that defense for LGD.
Absolutely, consistently, over and over again. And what I really, really enjoyed was the double sniper, how they managed to work around each other. And this was a point that I noted on their attack as well as their defense. They did so well at creating a distraction. They would have the crossfire going from different angles, and it would kind of grab Light Gaming's attention to a different part of the map, and while their backs were turned, the rest of LGD were able to capitalize on that. And they did that consistently, not only on their attack, but on their defense as well. And that's what makes that double sniper so incredibly powerful. What I did want to mention was the mono healer from Light Gaming's defense. Obviously, the problem with that is once your Mercy goes down, you've got problems. That's your only healer, and now you've got 5 people that are incapable of healing themselves, trying to kind of stave off the attack from, you know, whichever team is pressing in on them. In this case, obviously LGD. Once Light managed to have their spawn advantage on that defense, they kind of started to do a little bit better, because obviously if Mercy died, then she's a little bit closer, she can get back into the fray. But as soon as LGD build up those ultimates, and of course a fantastic pick off from the Widow there on that last fight, opening up everything that they needed to push straight on through, running that kind of a composition, it's high risk, high reward. And what we did see was a lot of the risk and not too much of the reward, unfortunately. But I'm really happy to see the double sniper. As you mentioned, Shift, you know, there's been a lot of concern about the bunker composition coming in and how it's gaining so much traction and becoming so prevalent in competitive Overwatch. But if we can see people of Kadalis's caliber clicking heads left and right, then yeah, I'm kind of here for it.
Yeah, my feet are literally sweating to how well Kadalis was actually playing today. It was very impressive within its own self too. But to push it that much further, I mean, a good Widowmaker, yeah, you can hit shots, but it basically comes down to a previous point that you brought up, Naori, was it is a team-based game, right? Look at the space, look at the frontline oppression that was coming through both from Rookie, Tanchu, again, You looked great today, dude. That was very impressive. All the way through to how much space Hoyo Chen just had to Guardian Angel on Mercy to fully exist. You talked about the solo support composition. Well, that's what it mostly comes down to, is just being able to have the space not only to find frags, but to be able to find sustain throughout it all as well, too. And I also want to sign off with one point as well. I am fully okay with ripping off the tab of support for Secret and just putting Flex there, because there are so many heroes that were being played from that individual, starting from Ana and playing out to the Widowmaker was very impressive at the attack for Rialto as well. And then you can take a look at all the, exactly. And you can look at all the heroes that Gonzalez was able to play. The flexibility of LGD Gaming that they were able to showcase today was just impressive.
Okay, hot take before we send things off as we finish things up. LGD is in Group B with T1W and Billy. After this, would you see LGD not only beating Billy, but could they potentially also beat T1W, Panda?
Probably not T1W, because T1W does have a very seasoned DPS duo, but Group B, on the other hand, does have a lot of openings available to them.
Nari?
No, I agree with Panda. T1W looking really strong at the moment, but yeah, there's some potential.
All right, we'll see what happens. That's going to be the end of our second set of the day. When we come back, we'll have our third and final, as LGE Huya will be going up against BTRG. Should be a good one. Join us after the break for our final set of the day.